Greetings. I am a very sporadic and erratic person. Sometimes calculated too. And there's times I do things on a whim, and other times I have everything planned out precisely the way that I wanted to wanted to happen. Now, now before I time this, as I said, I'm doing five broadcasts, kind of the history of sin, if you will. There's going to be the past, the present, the future, the forsaken, and the forgotten. And which order I do them in? Hey, we gonna fly by the seat of the pants here. I think I did an interview with my brother Defect and Staples, and we was talking about it. And I was an individual that always requires structure. I was one all about structure. I felt like flying by the seat of pants wasn't structured enough, and wanted something organized so that way we're just not floating with free time because there's nothing organized, but we're gonna wing it here because, as I said, I talk for hours on end. So that's why when it hit the 2 minute mark, I'll probably do that with every live broadcast, at least for the next four. And this is a rare thing too, because usually I have my homie Josh take care of the affairs of this page because I'm a very busy individual doing other things. But I owe it to the fans that I do have to touch base with y'all and let y'all know it's not over just yet. They go to 2 minute mark. Let's go ahead and begin this. And as I said, I'm pretty sure I caught a lot of you by surprise. So right now, some people are in bed, and some people may be awake. They might come around later or so. But hey, you could catch the video at your own leisure, just like I'm doing this at my own leisure. So it's not necessarily about how many people I have and so on and so forth that determines whether I'm going to do the videos or not. Because I honestly, at some point long ago, I'm not gonna say gave up, but just I stopped looking forward to trying to just gain the masses and appeal to the masses, and I just decided just pretty much do what I want on a whim, and we see what goes there. But we're at 3 minutes and 58 minutes left to go on the timer. As I said, these videos that I do are going to only be an hour apiece because I want to see how structured I can be. I'm not trying to squeeze everything in an hour. So this isn't so much waiting for people to come out, answer questions and so on, but questions will get answered. And hopefully there'll be a few people that'll be awake to catch the video. Maybe not, but there's gonna be some pretty off the wall stuff. Now, the reason why I'm sitting in the dark is because I'm just an individual that prefers the dark. The dark is calm. The dark is soothing. The dark is home for me. But let's go ahead and kick this off because I do got some kind of structure here. There's the past, present, the future, the forsaken, the forgotten. Let's start with the past. I'm not going to go into the whole, well, I was born this, born that, and everything, because as I said, this is going to be a live transmission of a different or something very, very out of left field. Might like it, might be surprised, might be shocked. I don't know. We're gonna see. We're gonna see how it happens and how the next 57 minutes are gonna go. Now we got the timer sitting right there. As I said, it may look like it may look pretty empty right here, but if you've seen pictures of the facility I reside in, yeah, there's a table, flat screen, just a few amenities to help me get through the daily operations that I have going on and tackle many endeavors that I got going on. So let's begin this with shout out to Uncle Phil. No, I'm kidding. Let's begin this with a story. I want to share a story with you. Story may be intriguing and may give you some insight, but if you listen to my music, you'll be clued into the origins of the story. How you doing, Steve? Glad you joined. As I said, I'm doing this off the cuff. I didn't advertise this on my regular page. I didn't advertise. I'm not advertising this. There's no big thing going on. I just kind of like keeping some level of mystique. But I guess Steve Selly, you'll be the first to hear the story because you heard this one before. And the story goes something like this. There was a musical group, very popular musical group, and they had a show going on in a nondescript city. They were best friends. Yeah, yeah, you laugh. Yeah, you know, you heard this story before. You know about this story's brother, little brother. I'm gonna continue anyway. But anyway, there was a popular group, nondescript city performance going on, and they went and performed. Nice sized crowd there, pretty big crowd, and they were just doing their thing. And once the show wrapped up and the group performed and they were meeting and greeting the fans and so on and so forth, all the attendees who came along and selling merchandise, shirts and accessories that play the music and so on and so forth. Trust me, everything is gonna go left field sometime in the future. But just bear with me. Just hear me out here. After the meet and greet with the fans and those in attendance and promotional duties were cemented, it was up to the de facto leader, if you will, to collect the earnings for the night, and then the group was just gonna go on to the next stop, perform elsewhere. You know, just basic um, spot show here, spot show there, as part of a leg of a tour of a bigger endeavor going on. So the de facto leader of this group was looking for the promoter, and he got word that the promoter was out back. So he was like, he talked to the group, and he was letting them, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and grab our pay, and then we could go ahead and hit the next place, and we could go on from there and so on. We could split up the pay once we get in the vehicle and so on. I mean, these were best friends and so on. The group been together for a long time. There wasn't none of that in-group fighting and strife that usually separates groups and half go their way, half go this way, or one goes solo out of three try to retain the group, or none of that. They've been a group for a long time because they were best friends since school. Well, anyway, the de facto leader is looking for the promoter out back, and fans were still going about. How you doing, Matt? Fans were still going about their business, everything, drinking, getting together, and making plans after party, so on and so forth, while the group's planning to just get their pay, stop at a restaurant, eat, and go about their business. And also got to mention that the group had their girlfriends in tow. Well, the de facto leader went around out back and everything. In a place that they located in the nondescript area, it's kind of a seedy location, but hey, you know, in the music business, whether you're doing rap, whether you're doing rock, metal, whatever, and everything, you know, you're gonna run into them spots where you're gonna be on the seedier side of town, but you still gotta perform because pay is pay, right? You know, a lot of musicians know that. You know, you're performing in areas you probably not that comfortable with. You may be comfortable with, but it's areas, you know, where crime is prevalent, and the rate of crime is based upon the number of people living there, whether it's a small town or whether it's a big locale. Well, this happened to be a pretty big locale, so the city was pretty bustling, and this was like the seedier side of the city. Anyway, so the de facto leader is looking for the promoter out back and what have you, and then the guy comes up to him, taps him on the shoulder, and you know, the de facto leader didn't jump or anything like that because he knows it's a show, it happens, and yeah, it happens. Basically, hey, you know, fans come up, talk, whatever, chit chat. Hey, how you doing? Can you give me tips on this, or can you sign this, sign that? So he thought it was just gonna be one of the routines, paint by the numbers, fan interactions. Well, dude was up to like, yeah, that was a dope ass show. I like that. Yeah, yeah, blah blah, yada 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 yada. And the de facto leader was like, okay, all right. Yeah, thank you very much. But he knew he had business to attend to, so he was gonna get a fan dap and everything, wish him well, and be on his way. So then he was giving him dap and so on and so forth. And when he tried to pull away, the fan kind of tightened the grip on his hand and pulled him closer. And he was like, hey, check this out, homie. Yeah, y'all did pretty good up in there. Y'all had a pretty big crowd. So y'all was up to selling a lot of merchandise. So I know you got a lot of money on you, and times hard around here and everything. What's up? You know where it's going, right? I'm gonna need what you got. So that's when the de facto leader was kind of taken aback, like, wait a minute, hold on, whoa, 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 what's going on here? What you mean you gonna need what I got? Yeah, it ain't going down like this. So the de facto leader scores his hand even tighter and everything, put him close and told him, this ain't what you want. Yeah, you might want to loosen your grip, homeboy. We're gonna have some problems. Yeah, this ain't what you really want. So the guy, how you doing, Stephanie Ann? You could probably catch the beginning of story time early on. I'm gonna see if I could get through story time with 50 minutes left to go. As I said, these are all gonna be an hour apiece, and there's 4 more left to go. But continuing on. So the guy was taken aback, like how bold he was. He made his declaration, he made his bones, said he want what his group had and what his group made. He wanted it. He's like, you got to come up off that. So then the guy reaches in his waistband and pulls out some metal strap, Glock, piece, heater, biscuit, whatever you want to call it. He whips it out, and seeing as he know that this went, I'll try to watch them all the way through. Yeah, don't worry. I could go on for 3 hours and so on, but I'm not gonna go 3 hours or whatever. This is gonna be 49 minutes. And once we hit that mark, whatever I don't get done, hopefully I'll catch it in the next whatever. But let me continue on so we can move forward. Anyway, the de facto leader sees the guy reaching for a strap, and he pulls them in closer. They start tussling around because he already know how it's gonna go. He didn't give up what he had or what the guy wanted, so he already knew how it was gonna go down. Somebody was not walking from the spot, so they wrestling around and they tussling. De facto leader slammed against the wall. Guy had a little adrenaline strength on him, but the de facto leader trained in martial arts prior, and he was pretty athletic and a martial artist too. Because some of the other group members were martial artists as well. But like I said, that's a story for another time. We're focused on the situation going on here right now. But they're wrestling around. The facto leader throws him against the wall, tussles around with him, ragdolls him, and pop, hits him with a two-piece and knocks him onto the ground, what have you. Dude drops his piece and he sees it. And they're wrestling for it. Now the leader goes for it and they're wrestling over it. And the guy happened to get his hand on it first. All the martial art training and everything kind of didn't help this guy for that split second it took because, nerves, adrenaline, and everything, because he already knew what was going to happen. Somebody was not walking away tonight, and the guy who was up there trying to run his pockets, he got to the piece first, picked it up, got it adjusted in his hand, pulled that trigger, Lee got hit in the stomach. Guy took off out the back, but people heard his shots though. So this guy is holding on to his stomach, and he just shot in the middle, and he just walking around dazed like, what's going on? Well, man, he never been shot before. Shot at, got in fights before and everything, but never been shot. How do you react to this? Because you never got shot before. So he's leaning against the wall. He's looking around and his vision starts getting fuzzy. And he sees the people and he sees a convergence coming on him because they heard a shot. The dude got away. So then he falls down, slumps against the wall, and then he sees a girl come up, and this girl sitting up there losing her mind, screaming for the other people that was up in the band. They all come around, and basically they're all standing around his girl, holding him close and everything. They call an emergency, calling what we call ground zero. Let's just call it police, but we'll just go with GZs. It was called GZs and wait for him to get there. In the meantime, the leader's bleeding out of his abdomen, and things are going fuzzy. You don't know what he got hit with, but it must have been something strong because he's sitting there bleeding, and his vision is getting blurry. Everything is getting black. His girl got tears streaming down his face, or streaming down her face. She crying, losing her mind, bawling her eyes out. And his other homies get there, and they losing their mind. The redhead one is looking around angry, and his eyes are red and everything, and he just mad. Other one's just in shock. All the people standing around him in shock, just looking like, what's going on? What happened? What happened? And the leaders on the ground just saying, somebody try to hit him up, try to take his ends and what have you. They got into a fight, and basically, I know. Go to sleep, dude. Like I said, I do everything erratic. There's no rhyme, reason, or plan time I'm gonna do this. It might be in the middle of the night. It might be in the middle of the day. When the urge gets there, like I said, I'm gonna try to do it over the space of 5 days. So I'll holler at you later. Night, little brother. Anyway, continuing on. Dude is just on the ground dying. Just he trying to lift his arm up, but he could feel like his energy and strength ebbing from his body. And his girl picks his arm up because she know what he's trying to do, and she puts his hand on her face so he could still feel the warmth from her body and everything. And she's just crying, pulling him close and everything. He can feel all the tears wash over his face, and everything is just getting darker and darker and darker, and time flows on, and the darkness just enveloped his eyes, and the last thing he seen was just a marquee sign up above his head, and darkness takes him. So the year of that was a nondescript year, but let's move forward. I know the questions are, well, what happened? What happened to the leader? What happened to the girl? What happened to the dude that tried to rob him? What happened? What happened? What's going on? We'll get to that sometime in the future, but let's move forward. Here we are. Here we are in the past, and the year I want to say is 1990. I say it's probably 1989. We'll go with 89. Older brother influenced me because I'm watching him trying to get his career off the road and everything, off the map, get it on the road, get going. And before he became Mac the Jacker, he used to go by Snoopy D. Before Snoop Dogg, this was 89. Maybe Snoop Dogg was Snoop Dogg out in California during the late 80s, what have you. But yeah, before he was Mac the Jacker, he was Snoopy D. And it was part of CRD, Cornelius Road Dogs. And that was a Saginaw thing or what have you. But here it is, 89, growing up, influenced by an older brother, and I tried writing some rhymes, but they was pretty weak, but I wasn't doing it with the same passion and conviction other people who get in the rap game do it in. I was doing it and just trying to emulate what my older brother was up there doing. And then time passed on. Then we come into, I want to say 91, 92 when Chris Cross was hot. I know y'all remember Jump. They had, yeah, the videos they had Jump, Way of the Rhyme, Warm It Up, Chris, I Missed the Bus, and It's a Shame and all that, but it was probably Way of the Rhyme. And two of my homeboys and my other homie little brother was all on the porch. They was singing Crisscross, and Basically, they were singing Way of the Rhine. I think it's a part in Way of the Rhine where they say it's like that, y'all. It's like that, y'all. Something like that. I gotta listen to Way of the Rhyme again. But they were listening to Way of the Rhyme when they were reciting Way of the Rhyme. I did not like Chris Cross at all. I ain't gonna lie, I was a big time hater. I was a big hater. I didn't like Chris Cross. So they got to that part of it's like that, y'all, and I jokingly stepped in and started mocking them. I was like, when they said it's like that, y'all, I was like, it's like that, y'all. So the way it came out, it sounded like it's like that, y'all. It's like that, y'all. And then something struck right there. I was like, wait a minute, hold on. That actually sounds good. The way it was up there saying it's like that, y'all. And I came in mocking them, but it ended up sounding good. And I was like that, y'all. It's like that, y'all. It's like that or that. It's like that, y'all. Now, the other homie, his name was Roderick. uh, Roderick York, he wasn't all about rhyming and nothing like that and everything. But I convinced my homeboy Dan. Y'all probably heard the story before. And for the fans on this page, you got Sins of an Angel, Soul of the Beast, maybe Hunting Season. I talk about it a great deal. Uh, y'all heard the story before. Dantastic. I think it was in I think it might be Phoenix because I talk about Dantastic a lot in a lot of songs. And Lethal Legacy and the solo stuff, I bring up Dantastic a lot because Dantastic was very influential in how this began. Now, basically, me and Dantastic formulated a plan of trying to be like the antithesis of Chris Cross. We was gonna be the anti-Chris Cross, where they was all kind of like young bubblegum rap. We was gonna try to be the more street-oriented version. Although at that junction in my life, I wasn't so much really that much street. I mean, I ain't gonna front. You know, everybody died. Everybody make mistakes along the way, and everything, and everybody learned. I was banging at that time. Um, I was banging. I'm not gonna say what set. I'll just say that those who pay attention to the music and pay attention to the dress and everything, and what I say, I especially said it in my last release, The Great Stairwell. Um, what my affiliation, what have you. It was because of my cousins, and you wouldn't believe the kind of dichotomy that was going on in my family. I mean, hey, I ain't gonna front. You know, everybody comes up in that family that's probably not the greatest and what have you. My family, we were something else. My immediate family, brothers and sisters, was banging. My cousins was banging, and we were kind of on the opposite side of the spectrum because while my sisters and brothers hung out with one another, my I was hanging out with my cousins, and my cousins were on the opposite side of the spectrum when it came to gang banging. So yeah. Anyway, Dantas, we put together a group called Dynamic Deuce. Yeah, Deuce as in yeah. But it was either Dynamic Duo or Dynamic Deuce, but it was me and Danny. I was Vinny B and he was Danny Boy, and we was up there. We were just trying to make a group. We had songs called "Is Like That Y'all," "Migga the Mix," "Definition of a Bitch," "Saginaw's in the House," and what have you. And seeing as my brother was up trying to come up, he already at this point in time, and this was while Detroit was doing her own thing with the wicked shit. Up north around this way around Saginaw, I think we was all about hardcore gangster murder shit. I mean, the wicked shit crept its way up here because it was influenced by Esham and what ICP and yeah, what ICP and Esham was doing in Detroit. But as far as my older brother and Dayton family, they was doing their own thing. They was more. I mean, you could go back and check out Scanless Family presents Mac the Jacker. Scanless Family presents That Nigga Bone, and they was gonna have Scanless Family presents Damien the Demon, and so on and so forth. And all that early material, it was all based on hardcore murder. It was murder shit. It wasn't so much wicked witches or candlesticks or anything like that. It was basically just hardcore gangster murder shit, like Stick Up Kid, bust got murder shit and everything, and that's what we was trying to be on. But my brother, I think I said it in a defect interview. My brother's a real deal. He changed, and everybody grew. He a family man now. He trying to get his sons, trying to get my nephews into it. My nephews was it? It's Pharaoh. Pharaoh, I forgot their name, man. I can't believe they my nephews. I forgot their name, but they doing their thing though. It's Wooga and Pharaoh. They rap. I have to look it up for you sometime, man. Post it on here. Anyway, I was trying to get a connect through my brother doing rap, and he said he was gonna work with me. He said he was gonna work with me and what have you. He wanted me to spit, and I think the beginning part of the rhyme I spit for him like that. I was like, it's like that, y'all, and that's the way it'll be when it's done on the mic by the incredible VB. Can anyone come close with this gift? I don't think so, cause I got funky flow that everybody wants to go and get, cause they can't get enough. Cause it's like a hit that you put in your arm, but when I hit cause harm, the only damage that'll be done is by the blast of the atomic bomb, the blast of the bass that hit you dead in your face like a fist, because we're hitting on top of the list. Number one, we're hitting hard at the show. We make the list say yeah, and the fellas say ho. And yeah, I said that so dry and emotionless because I'm just was giving a demonstration, but my brother heard it, and I can't say that he was too impressed because nothing else came of it. So fast forward high school. My homeboy went to the high school across the bridge, all the way out in the township, or close to the township, or border of the township, Arthur Hill. I went to Saginaw High. In Saginaw High, that was when I ran into my three man clique at the time before it expanded, became this like nearly 25-man clique. What was it? UMF, Underground Mobster Family. Um, it was Dave Jones, and James Flowers. And believe me, James Flowers has some deep history in the wicked shit too. Gotta look him up. Me and him did Bedlam's Chemical Imbalances Volume 2, and me and him did Shot Treatment, but I got 3 songs on Shot Treatment. He did the rest of Shot Treatment. He got a couple of songs on Bedlam's Check the Children. And yeah, he's deep in the history of the wicked shit. James has been doing music since far back as I can remember. Me and him first hooked up on a music tip in 1993. But his family were dancers. Yeah, his family were dancers for Parliament, Funkadelic George Clinton. And that's interesting. You think about it now that our families were very, very, very similar. Like, I'm related to Sister Rosetta Thorpe, and I mean, some of y'all in the wicked shit probably have no idea who that is, but she was a very, very big singer. I think, matter of fact, if I remember correctly, she was the one. I think that there was comparisons to saying that Elvis Presley ripped off her gimmick with the whole guitar thing and the strutting and all that on stage. I actually have to fact check that, so don't quote me on that just yet. Let me fact check that. But I think it was Sister Rosetta Thorpe. That she's family. Curtis Mayfield. That's my cousin. My mom had a group way back in the days with the female singers in the 60s and everything, like the Supremes and yeah, the groups way back then, Temptations, the Supremes and everything. She had a female group. She was gonna get picked up by Berry Gordy. And that surprised the hell out of me. But what stopped that was my grandma didn't want, I guess my grandma didn't want my mom going away, going to college and everything, to pursue this group for Barry Gordy or what have you. So basically, she didn't pursue the group. By the time she was ready to pursue the group while being out on her own and everything, one of the members ended up getting pregnant, so she couldn't pursue getting picked up by Barry Gordy anymore. That freak sucked. I imagine if she did get picked up, this would be a whole different conversation right now. Now, I probably wouldn't be doing the wicked shit because chances are, much like Tracy Ellis Ross, who's Diana Ross's daughter, yeah, your boy probably would have took a different direction, probably would have got into acting, probably would have got into something else, but I wouldn't have gotten happened to the wicked shit. So that's funny how things happen. And as you know, or probably heard on my albums are already familiar with, my brother Mac the Jacker, he did his own thing. He met Dre, talked to Dre, via G Pierce and Juvenile, a lot of people already familiar with the Dayton Family and Bootleg. Bootleg was on his second CD, True Story, and came out in 2000. Anyway, that was my side of the family. Then there's James. Like I said, his family were dancing for Parliament Funkadelic, and they worked with George Clinton and everything. So I imagine that's how they got this big studio up in the attic a long time ago, back in the early '90s. They had a board, they had the 4-track mixer, they had the before everybody was doing Pro Tools and everything on computer, and you could do everything on computer. No, he had the gear. He had all the gear, and we did our earliest stuff on there, and that's where the wicked shit. That's where the wicked shit started at. As far as us and what have you. While my brother and his boys and everything was, and Damien the Demon and Ballhead, Lemonade, Dirty Jerk, and all of them was on some murder shit and what have you, and doing all that back in 1991, 92, and all that. I was dabbling in between being somewhat political like Public Enemy and being wicked like Esham. And James was doing more like kind of hip hop stuff and what have you. But the first instance of the wicked shit coming in was I want to say 19. It was probably 1993. There was a song I did. I forgot the name of it, but we had recorded it on a cassette tape, and I was taking it home to listen to, and my brother walked in, and this was when he was coming out with his thing, when he was doing his thing. He listened to it, and his producer at the time, Pratt and Killer Productions, he heard it. No, my brother took the cassette to Pratt and Killer to let him listen to it. And I'm thinking, wow, okay, my brother finna get me hooked up. Cause I remember first time, if you remember, if some of y'all heard not Scott and Stace, heard Homicide. This was a long time ago. A young brother coming straight from the streets of Saginaw. Homicide. Bone Skinless talks about Scott Stace. He on a song he mentions they did a song at Scott Stace's production, and I was there. I wasn't there when they recorded Homicide, but I was there in the initial introduction of my brother meeting Scott and Stace. And I remember Scott and Stace. Scott was a heavier set dude, and he had a beard. Stace was a light skinned dude. He had a ball cap on. Man, it was a small house that was on Sheridan, but you inside the house, oh my God. Just like in my apartment right here, I got my living room is basically a gym. You go up into their house, the living room is a studio. I'm not talking about like how, like I said, there was no computer screens at the time. I mean, back then, studios, it was ran by your ear. It was ran by what you could hear, turning faders and moving dials up and what have you. Yeah, moving faders up and down, turning knobs and so on. You had to actually listen to it, and it wasn't what you seen on your computer screen. You edit everything on the computer screen. Scott and Stace had a big mixing board, real, real. Back then, you recorded on reels, and they had the reel track machine. They had mixing board they had the whole 9 yards. I was like, wow, this is what I want to do. And my brother had me bring my keyboard there. I had this a long time ago, and one of the first things I was involved in, if you will, was I think I hit the C key. I was recording something. I can't say recording something because I had keyboards back then you could record. But I was making some music on my keyboard. My brother came in and he was messing around with it, and he had me hit the C key, and it was something about the C key that he liked. And he took me over to Scott and Stace's house with the keyboard. They hooked up. They hooked all the line ends up to the keyboard, and I hit the C. I mean, realistically, they had the keyboards. All they had to do was basically just find the sound and whatever they was using, whatever sound bank they were using, hit the C key. But I guess my brother liked that particular sound. I lost that tape a long time ago. It was when Dirty Jerk first started rapping, but he went by Monk. And yeah, it was great. Lemonade was there. I think Lemonade, Ballhead, Dirty Jerk, my brother, and I forgot who else. It might have just been me, my brother, Dirty Jerk, Ballhead, and Lemonade. And we was all in the studio just chilling. And they took the sound for C key and actually made a beat around it. And Dirty Jerk went to the booth. He started recording and just came up with something off the top of his head, then eliminate. No, then my brother went in. Yeah, then my brother went in. He went talking shit at the end of the track, calling out all the gangs around Saginaw, talking about they want to bring the drama. They could go and bring it on Cornelius and Cornelia and whatever. It don't matter. They lay them all down. And I think back then, back then it was Boss, Dirt Street, 4KP, yeah, it was a lot of gangs back then and what have you. But I don't know who Cornelia Road Dogs were beefing with or what have you, but they was beefing with somebody, and my brother was at the time about, yeah, you go ahead and bring the drama. You could bring it to Cornelia, we'll lay you all down, CRD and all that. Man, it was crazy. Good times. But yeah, that was how I got into the music, and I hooked up with James and what have you. And we did first group that we had was Trilogy because it was me, James, and Dave. Dave didn't technically rap at all. We went and we went after school, and James off work. Thanks for the history lesson. No problem. Like I said, it's sporadic. I just gotta be ready when it comes on. Like I said, I'm just doing a sporadic off the cuff and what have you. I got 25 minutes left, so let me go ahead and try to wrap up the introductory and then move into how this all ties into what to expect. So as I said, me James and Dave hooked up. Dave and we created this instrumental. It wasn't really nothing. James just slapped something together because he seen that we was excited. But as time went on, James buckled down, got serious, and Dave was just hanging out because we was all trying to get ass and everything. We was in high school just trying to get ass. That's all we was focused on. And you know me and James were the ones spending time in the studio making beats, making plenty of beats because his uncle Ray didn't have the equipment hooked up to record anything yet. So we just spent all our time up there making beats, putting beats together, making beats to put on tape to rap to, and so on and so forth. And as the years went on, we got better. We put out a group, we formed Underground Monster Family, but I don't got enough time to get into that history lesson. Maybe another time because that one is long too. Um, basically, basically, we got the group together, and over time, Dave ended up getting ousted. Dave went his own way, but by then, I was deep within the music, and we had Underground Monster Family. We had Ghetto Circus, which ended up becoming Disciples, and Underground Monster Family. By then, I went off to Kansas. During 95 to 99. I was in Kansas, met some cool people there. Shout out to Dewani Hammond. He's on my page. I seen Calloway, aka Scramble the Nutty Professor. Harry Rude. No, I forgot his first name. But Rude, aka Six the Holy Ghost, and Harry Smith, aka Big Time. That was we was the Cheddar Guys in Kansas, but I was the only person bringing wicked shit there. And while Kansas, the oldest songs that I did that you could probably hear, no, that you can hear on Sins of an Angel and Soul of the Beast is Murder the World. That was one of the first ones I made while I was in Kansas. I created that at the end of 1997, and it was originally called Warpath. Well, it was originally called On the Warpath, but some of the songs that you hear are Sins of an Angel now, and maybe a few on Soul of the Beast because it was Soul of the Beast was kind of a reimagining as opposed to just being a remix. Murder the World was done. Murder the World, 31 Flavors. a song called "What's My Name" that eventually evolved into being Morning Star. Uh, Ozma was kind of an evolutionary thing, but I forgot what the original version of Ozma was called. Game Over, Valentine's Day. Those all came from Kansas. Space and Beyond came from Kansas. The tail end of my stay in yeah, it was the tail end of my stay in Kansas. I wrote Space and Beyond. Dreams of Champagne is another oldest one, and that one was the first of my catalog, first of my songs in any catalog to be on the radio. Dreams of Champagne. But Murder the World and Murder the World, Dreams of Champagne, 31 Flavors, um, Space and Beyond, probably a few others, but those ones I can remember off the top that I did in Kansas. And basically, that's where the past is and what have you. But with 21 minutes left, as we're getting into the past is all encompassing. The past it don't necessarily have to mean it don't necessarily have to mean like the very distant past and what shaped me up to get into music and everything. It could also be past events that led me to where we're presently at and what the future holds. And one thing I want to talk about concerning the past that I never really mention a lot and try to move forward from and everything is what happened. I know there's a lot of questions about what happened. You were with Psychopathic Records and it seemed like the world was yours and this was happening and that was happening. What happened? How come this? How come that? And I think I explained it on Defects Podcast. I keep this one short and concise. In a nutshell, Isham had an A1 Yola release party in 2005, and that was the same week. That was a pretty busy week for me. It had the Detroit Music Awards to perform at the showcase there, Detroit Music Awards, the Ludacris show at the top of the week, and at the bottom of the week, it started out with Isham A1 Yola release party on Tuesday in Detroit, and I got invited to perform at the party, but prior to that me and Violent J had somewhat it was I can't even say it was beef. I just say that I thought there was some animosity because basically in an interview I conducted on horrorcore.com a long time ago, there was a question posed um since I was on Psychopathic at the time and they was wondering what was my future with Psychopathic. I said that as far as I can tell you, I'm gonna work on Pale Horse trying to get that out. But you know, if I stay on Psychopathic long enough, you know, you never know. You might find me in some of the group projects that got going on, and if you find me, I might gravitate more toward Psychopathic writers because of my history and what have you. I go by the name Pump Handle. I wasn't saying that I was in Psychopathic writers. I'm saying that that could be a possibility if I'm on the label at that point. I could be part of that group project, you know, like Boondocks was, and Isham came in later. That was pretty much what I predicted if I would have been on the label long enough. And some, I guess, a juggler or whatever ran with that. Told Violent J in the chat room that V Sinister said he was part of Psychopathic Writers, and Violent J say, what? That whack ass, this, that, and everything. V Sinister wasn't part of Psychopathic Writers, and so on and so forth, without coming to the source, what have you. We caught wind of it. I brushed it off my shoulder because I'm like, you know what, whatever. I'm just trying to move forward and try to do my own thing and so on and so forth. I'm trying to focus on making V Sinister real big, what have you. So a year later, this was in 2003. 2004, Soul of the Beast came out. 2005, it was a big year for me, what have you. And that's when I got the invite. And the invite was from Violent J himself. And when I got there, I'm thinking, okay, last I remember, Violent J was dissing me online and everything, so I'm hoping I'm not coming here about to get rat packed by all these psychopathic artists. I'm like, hey, if I get rat packed, somebody coming down with me. I'll start swinging on whoever, somebody coming with me. I ain't about to get mobbed up on and pieced up because of a wayward comment somebody took misconstrued and took a context, and yeah, that wasn't happening. But it wasn't like that. First thing was I seen Spider, the security for Psychopath a long time ago. He seen me. He was like, you know, Joe want to talk to you because there, you know, he go by Joe, his real name, Joe Bruce. And Spider told me Joe want to talk to you. Then I seen Rude Boy, and Rude Boy was smiling, and I'm like, okay, I'm thinking I was about to get pieced up, jumped up, and pieced up or whatever. But Rude Boy was smiling, and he was like, hey, V, what's up? How you doing? Yeah, Joe want to holler at you, and he was smiling, and I was like, okay, okay, all right, I'll holler at Joe. Then I talked to Joe, and Joe was like, and what's up? We're doing this and doing that and everything. And we was just wondering what's going on, what you doing with your career. And I told him at that point, yeah, we just working on this, working on that, trying to put this out. But whatever, clever and everything. Hey, I'm just trying to come out with music or whatever. I gave Joe my phone number. That's the killing part. Is like what I found out. All Joe had to do was just, the same way he reached. I mean, I gave Joe my phone number. I told Joe could have called me up and asked me, "Does my manager speak for me?" Here's the fucked up part. What it turns out was that they talked to my manager at the time in a back area, and I guess from what Spider told me in the word that I got was they came and my manager told him, they wanted me part of Psychopathic Records. And this was before A&B, and this was before Boondocks. This was when the Underground Psychos was still going on, and A&B was still contestants up in there, and Boondocks was still Turncoat Durgan. And Violent J came. Violent J was up to trying to recruit me for Psychopathic because he said, and I was gonna go by V Sinizter. And I guess what it was like, talking to him, he said, I'm comfortable on stage. I got my own thing going. I know what I'm doing, so on and so forth. I managed to get all this done and get all that done on my own. So I guess he realized that basically, I can either try to make it on my own or combine forces and bring V Sinizter aboard and push that career to the moon as much as possible. But like I said, what happened was my manager was backstage, and they came to him saying, hey, we want V Sinizter and what have you. And basically, my manager, from what I was told them if they wanted me, they had to take him too. Basically, that if Psychopathic want to pick me up, they had to pick him up as well. I don't know what possessed them to do that, and I didn't find out about this till almost a year and a half after the fact. Man, if I would have found out about that yet the day after, if Joe would have called and told me, that's what my manager said, he want to know what's up with me, man. Oh, my manager would have been more than fired right on the spot. And if you watch ex-manager, yeah, you lucky you had kids, what have you, because the way my family was up to talking and what you did and messed everything up, you was gonna get killed. But like I said, I found out a year after the fact, and the situation was probably long past since then. And I was like, I can't do nothing to him now because it'd be premeditated murder or what have you. Because I'm like, how you gonna do something like that, bro? And he didn't even. After the show, he didn't even tell me nothing about it. He didn't tell me that Psychopathic was looking to bring me aboard and what have you. Like I said, this was when Psychopathic was Esham. Yeah, it was ICP, Twisted, Blaze, Esham, and ABK. Like I said, I would have came aboard before A&B, before Boondocks, before Big Hoodoo, whole 9 yards. I would have been aboard. As we said, oh yeah, Lavelle was on there too with the supervillains. I would have came aboard as V Sinizter, what have you. But yeah, my manager messed that up, and I was like, wow, man, really, manager did me wrong, man. And that changed a whole lot. And as the years went on, there was a lot of successes. And okay, sorry about that. Computer time. I guess the computer forgot that we're doing something here and it's being used. But either way, we got it going back and got 13 minutes left. A whole lot in the history that could have been got erased and what have you because of that instance. And here we are now. Now, with 13 minutes left, what I want to say, because like I said, we're going to continue on and we're going to try to keep it relevant to whatever the topic is at that time. And this was the past as much as I could get out. And like I said, I gave y'all some pretty cryptic in the beginning. You would have to watch it and peep it again. And as I said, I'm dropping clues throughout my music and what have you. And believe me, we're going somewhere with this. You just got to stay tuned. But mind you, as you can see, I'm not let's see, my first ever show was Yu Shaman Mastermind at a bar out in Shields. Yeah, if Eshawn Mastermind was there, that probably would have been probably Water and Charles. We did a number of shows there with Bedlam. Yeah, it was always a given when we was doing shows out there that chances are I was gonna open up on that show, and that was before V Sister hit Psychopath and a little bit after too. Yeah, those were some good times. But as it stands right now, I'm looking at where I'm at in life right now, and no, let me say this first and foremost. As cryptic as this may sound, and as self-defeating as it may sound, it's not really self-defeat. Let me get this first and foremost out the way with the 11 minutes I got, and I'm telling you, I'm stick to this time schedule. I am not stopping music right now. But keep in mind, when I first got into music and when I decided to put out these gospels, 5 gospels, Morning Star's done, Pale Horse done, at least 3 left. You already know if you've been following the page. The third one, Enoch's Concerto, is on its way. So at least 2 gospels left. There is a beginning, there is an end. And I might as well break down the structure for you so you fully understand. So that way you don't think that our music is just all over the place and there's no structure to it. The way I do things, I'm a very creative individual. I write, I do comic and cartoon illustrations, I do physical and personal training. I compose music and not just um rap music, but I compose video game instrumentals and what have you. I mean, I wish I could do it for a company. You never know; it might happen sometime in the near future or what have you. That's what I do. But let's keep it focused on what about V Sinister, because we could talk about that another time. There's only 10 minutes left. Let me break this down for you to all the fans who will watch this, who may watch this, and all the people who are going to ultimately see this video, so you can get a better understanding of how to get a fulfilling V Sinister experience. First and foremost, let's set the record straight here. If you want to follow along with what's going on, Sins of an Angel is no longer canon. Sins of an Angel is a standalone album by itself. So whatever's on Sins of an Angel is no longer canon in the Cineverse, if you will, which is the Sinister mythology. And Josh is on this, and I keep telling Josh over and over and over, if you don't do any merchandise or what have you, because Josh is my merchandise guy, and also the guy that runs the whole shebang while I'm off trying to get all this done. And I'm telling you, we're working on it. We're going to get it done. Just bear with me. But there is a structure and order to this. Everything has order and structure, because if there's no order and there's no structure, there's nothing but chaos. And we're trying to reel in the chaos to bring structure and order back. So let's get the structure out the way first and foremost. Sins of an Angel, my debut solo album, my first debut solo album, no longer canon. It does not apply and it's not applicable to anything V Sinister related. It is a standalone album. Psychopathic released Hunting Season, the OG, no longer canon. It does not have any applicable meanings to the overall Gospel of the Apocalypse, which is 5 books. OG Hunting Season from Psychopathic, no longer canon. Morningstar Sins of an Angel, no longer canon. The Abomination, that was the OG Haunt of Fear that my manager was ultimately responsible for, that I would say out of all that did some good, because it forced me to get behind the boards myself and start doing my own thing and overseeing my own music, so I can take time and care with it and have it sound the way I want to have it sound, and not sound like that abomination that was the OG Hunting Season. And he might try to retort or come back and say, well, I was the one that came up with the beats and came up with the topics and everything. That may be true. That is true enough, and I won't deny that. But guess what? I wasn't the one that mixed the album or mastered it. And if you mix it right and you master it right, it comes out sounding right. And the album was absolutely trash. The OG Hall of Fear was trash. So those 3 albums, first and foremost in the catalog, be Sinister. They're rare. If you could pick them up online somewhere for how much ever you're paying for it, hey, I'm not getting no money, so yeah, whatever. So let's get that out the way. Those 3 albums are no longer in the canon of the the Cineverse, the mythology of V Sinister. They don't apply to anything, just stand alone albums. What do apply is the albums under the gospel of the apocalypse. And the structure to this is there's going to be the main gospel. The main gospel is Morning Star, Soul of the Beast, and Pale Horse Requiem for the Darkness. Those are the main gospels. Those are the ones. All right, let's put it this way. If I could, because I thought about this earlier today, if I could compare the saga, I mean, what I was doing got compared to ICP's Joker's cards before, but no, there's a difference. ICP's Joker's cards are more of an anthology, if you will. They're they're kind of an anthology, where mine's is like a saga. There's a beginning and there's an end, like the Star Wars saga, Star Trek saga, whatever saga. There's a beginning and there's an end. And when it reaches the end, oh yeah, I'm still alive, but I'm about to get off in about 6 minutes. Maybe give you a little, maybe give you a little bit longer, a little bit after, so I can get my point across. But it ain't gonna be too much longer after the 6 minutes that remain. But anyway, the gospel of the apocalypse. First and foremost, let's look at that. This saga is not the Joker's cards. It's not this. It's not that. It's called the gospel of the apocalypse. That's what it is. The gospel is news. The apocalypse is a new beginning. So it's a gospel of a new beginning, if you will. The gospel of the apocalypse. That's what my saga's called. And the only albums that you have to, because I did a Lionheart EP, I did numerous tracks and everything, but the only ones that are canon and are of V Sinister and Cineverse canon are those that fall under the gospel of the apocalypse. And I'm gonna tell you, I have a structure here. First and foremost, there's the main gospels, and you got two of them already: the Blue Book and the Black Book. The Blue Book was Morning Star, Soul of the Beast. The Black Book was Pale Horse. And then there are what I call the arcs. And the reason why they're called arcs is because they connect the gospels. The arcs are the EPs. And the EP is Hunting Season Annihilation. That's an arc. The Great Stairwell. That's an arc. And in some technical sense, the Haunt of Fear is another arc too. That's an arc, if you will. And then there are the keys. And keys are either maxi singles. Yeah, they're either maxi singles. No, technically, Haunt of Fear would be a maxi single, but sometimes I can't make it an EP. But Haunt of Fear would technically, if I did it right and did it on time, would be a maxi single or singles. The singles are, it was originally Silent Hill X. That's a key, and there's My Heaven, Silent Hill X2. That's a key. There's also the Curse of Darkness too. That's a key as well too. Now, if you really want a full Sinister experience, and let me tell you this. I mean, this is not a knock to any artist and what have you. I'm a very creative individual. This is just me. Artists do what they do because it works for them and everything. But all my albums are connected. There isn't just me coming up with this particular album, and then next thing you know, we're doing a different kind of album here. We're doing a different kind of album that has not one to do with the other and everything. And like I said, look, let me see, 50 years ago was White Pony, if I ain't mistaken. That was like Water and Troll days. I missed those. Yeah, Water and Troll days. I missed those too. Yeah, there isn't too many shows in this kind of genre going on anymore around this city. The shows that's going on around here are more like the new generation of Saginaw rappers who kind of borderline close to mumble rap, and maybe a few MC shows and everything. I attended a few and performed at a few, what have you, to keep the name going, what have you. I remember those. But continuing on, if you want the full, I'm not gonna say V Sinister experience, because as I said, it's multifaceted. Because there's also the Lionheart saga the Lionheart saga includes Lionheart, Sword of God, EP I did, Declaration of War, Blitzkrieg, yeah, Lionheart, Declaration of War, Blitzkrieg, and World War III. and then there was the Conquest and the Demon. But those are not part of the Gospel of the Apocalypse. Those are something else for some direction, a different direction I was going in. Those don't count in this. If you want the full experience of the gospel and to follow what's going on, because I'm telling you, when all the books are revealed, all the arcs are revealed, all the keys are put together, you open the books with the key, and then you have the arc, or the arc is more the arc, if you will, is like the bookmarks of gospel, and the key opens up the next saga. So if you want to put all these together, if you got them in your collection, you can try this out. This is what I did. This is how I sit there and put it all together on my iPod playlist. I'm trying to put everything together and see where all the puzzle pieces fit. And it's a puzzle. I'm not just saying it's to build up some kind of late coming gimmick. This has been going on for so long. It's just trying to get them out there. But if you want the order of what to listen to, so that way it'll start making sense to you, because the paradigm is going to shift once the third book, Enoch's Concerto, Overture to Heaven and Hell, or whatever I had it called. I go by many titles, but right now we're just going to go by Enoch's Concerto. When I refer to the Gospels, I just say Morning Star, Pale Horse, Enoch's Concerto. That's the third Gospel coming up. It's a double album. There's going to be a Heaven disc and a Hell disc. And I might give you a quick rundown on that little rearrangement order too and everything, even if I do run out of time. But I'll make that one real quick. But anyway, here it is. If you got the albums in your collection, the albums you should have is Morning Star, Hunting Season Annihilation, Haunt of Fear Anthology, The Curse of Darkness, Pale Horse, and The Great Stairwell. The order that you listen to those in, you might want to write this down too. The order starts out Morning Star. Then from Morning Star, you're going to go to Hunt Season Annihilation. From Hunt Season Annihilation, you're going to go to Haunt of Fear. You're going to go to Haunt of Fear Anthology. From Haunt of Fear Anthology, you're going to go to The Curse of Darkness. From The Curse of Darkness, that's the key, you're going to go to Pale Horse. From Pale Horse, you're going to start it all over again. Start with the next arc. The next arc is The Great Stairwell. That's out. If you don't have The Great Stairwell, get it. As I said, all these albums connect together in a larger puzzle. And from there, when I do get it out, the next arc and keys come out. And that is my hour right there. But like I said, what I say I was gonna do. I was going to explain something. If I remember what it was, if you remember what I said I was gonna explain after I got done, I'll do it. If I don't, then I cut it short. But anyway, let me finish this up here. The next arc that's coming out, because the first arc is already out, Great Stairwell. If you don't have that, pick it up. Songs are The Ascent, Paradise Lost, the 90s show, or that 90s show. Was it Heads in the Clouds, The Descent, Something Wicked, The Light Bearer, The Great Stairwell, and that's it. That's the next arc. That's already out. The next arc coming in is the Haunt of Fear 3. Been working on that for a long time. We're gonna get that out. And then the last key for Enoch's Concerto will be Kill God, Silent Hill X3. That is the last key. There might be another maxi single EP stylish album like Curse of Darkness, but it won't be Curse of Darkness. It'll be something else along akin to that. We'll see when we get there, bro. In the immediate future, coming out after The Great Stairwell is Haunt of Fear 3. Yeah, Haunt of Fear 3 and Kill God. And then we go into the big double. Oh, yeah, that's what I was going to explain. How these are all out of order, and then that's going to be it. And I'll see you next time. Yeah, let me tell you about what you can expect from Enoch's Concerto. First off, Enoch's Concerto is a double album. It's gonna be a hell gospel, and it's gonna be a heaven gospel. Now, I know some of y'all who still tuned in are thinking, but that's real underground with more skeleton keys than the locomotive engineer. Oh yeah, I'm just getting started. Now I know some are thinking, wait a minute, that sounds like Hell's Pit and Shangri-La and all that. You're just biting off of ICP. No, see, let me explain something to you. When I can't, this is what I was going to explain, tie it all together, and then I'm out. I'm going to try to keep it on 2 minutes. I will try my best to keep it on 2 minutes. I'm a very verbose individual, so please forgive me. Anyway, I had the gospel, the book, whatever you want to call it. I had this since the late '90s. I think ICP may have been on the Great Malenko when the idea of doing the gospel of the apocalypse came up. And not to give away too much, but you could probably figure out some of it and everything. And considering they're old anyway and no longer canon anyway, you take with it what you will. It was always five. It was always going to be five. And originally, it was called Symphony of Nightmares, um, Night of the Living Dead, Heaven, Hell, Wax Faces, and the Damnation Gang. That's what they're going to be called. They're no longer canon, though, to some degree or what have you. But to my fans, true fans here, I kind of gave away something, so you could probably figure it out there and tie it all together. However, the Gospels of the Apocalypse have gotten much bigger than that. But let's go ahead and get back to the Hell disc and the Heaven disc. Now, the idea I had first, since Enoch's Concerto is pretty much already announced that it's coming out and what have you, so it's not like I'm really giving away any secrets to it and everything. When I originally started out on my solo career, and this was before the 2002 MC contest and everything. They already had Bizarre by then, and the Amazing General Brothers was already out. They didn't have the six Jokers card out just yet. They were going out the six Jokers card at that 2002 gathering in Peoria, Illinois. But nobody knew what the six Jokers card was. But what I was going to do was I was gonna come out with Morningstar Sins of an Angel first, and technically the next let me see. No, technically, in some sense, you could say, because I even had the original instrumentals for Pale Horse when it was called Pale Horse the Funeral. No, when it was called Night of the Living Dead the Funeral. The original title of Pale Horse Requiem for the Darkness was called Night of the Living Dead the Funeral. And I have the instrumental here. If I'm nice enough, I might have Josh, I might send him a couple of instrumentals that you can hear the original versions of how they were supposed to sound when I was still working on the MTV Music Generator, and I will break that down some other time. I should have brought that up about the MTV Music Generator, but that'll be a long explanation. But let's get back to how I did not bite ICP's gimmick with the Shangri-La Hell Pit thing and where mine came in. But, if you got money and everything to get your stuff out there faster, hey, whoever got the money and got the means to get it out there faster, hey, first come, first serve. Second place ain't nothing but the first loser. But anyway, they didn't announce the six Jokers card yet at the gathering. And what I was going to, because what I was trying to do was make all these instrumentals for the Gospels and have them done out the way. I had Pale Horse already done, and at that time I didn't even know I was going to come up with Pale Horse next, because Sins of an Angel was out, and there wasn't no announcement of Pale Horse or anything like that. And basically, the original hunting season was supposed to be called the October Game, and I already had that planned out before Psychopath that came along. It was supposed to be called the October Game, and the track list was originally supposed to be Clock Stoppers, Out the Cosmos, Silent Hill X, The Shepherd, and Jack. Let me see. It was supposed to be six songs. Let me see if I got this right. Clock Stoppers, Out the Cosmos, Jack O' Lantern, Silent Hill X, The Shepherd, and that's five. So yeah, Alice would have been number six. Yeah, so it was only supposed to be six songs or what have you. That's all. Yeah. No, that's not right. That's right. I'll take that back. Hold on. First off, title track, October Game. That was the original name of the EP was October Game. Clock Stoppers was next. That's two. Silent Hill X would make three. Uh, The shepherd would make 4. Out the cosmos would make 5. So that means number 6 was jack-o'-lanterns. Yeah, because I got the original instrumentals for that too. It's supposed to be 6. Alice wasn't on there, and neither was something else was on there. But anyway, that that was gonna come out. The order was supposed to be in Sins of an Angel, the October game. Now here's where the kicker comes in. Like I said, I was already trying to grind out all these instrumentals and have them already, so that way all I had to do was just go to the booth, knock them out, get them done, and be done. Well, the original second gospel, second book, if you will, the original one that was supposed to come out instead of Pale Horse was supposed to be Heaven and Hell. It was supposed to be called Heaven and Hell, the Overture. And that one was gonna be a double disc. I talked to my manager about it, and I told him like the next one I want to come up with after Sins of an Angel was Heaven and Hell. That was supposed to come out next. Manager was like, "Well, goddamn, that's gonna cost us a lot of money and everything." But I'm like, that's what I want to come out with, because the original order was supposed to be in Sins of an Angel, Heaven and Hell. I'm not gonna say the name of the third book that was supposed to come out after that, because now that book ended up becoming the fourth. Then it was supposed to be Night of the Living Dead, Pale Horse, and then it was supposed to fit the final book. But here's what happened, though. Here's what happened. Like I said, nobody knew what the 6 Jokers card was gonna be. Had the 6 Jokers card been the Spectacular Mirror Pirate or whatever it was supposed to be, or originally supposed to be, or whatever it was supposed to be, then I would have got back to Saginaw and I would have put out. I mean, if the contest still went the way it did, I still would have put out October, because on Psychopathic I called it the October game. And I wanted it released in October. I talked to Jump City and Alex about it, but they had other stuff going on. And I was like, man, I want this out in October because the name of the album is called October Game. Unfortunately, October came and went, and it didn't get released till January on my birthday. We not hating, but the clown slept on you. Nah. We'll talk about that in the present, future, forsaken, and forgotten. Believe me, we gonna address a whole lot, homie. Just stick with me. But yeah, that was supposed to be the October game. So if everything would have went according to plan, the October game was supposed to come out on Psychopathic, not Hunt. Well, it was still a Hunt season, but it was supposed to actually been called the October game. And then after getting back to Saginaw, getting situated, I was gonna start work on Heaven and Hell, the double disc, because hey, by that time, I thought ICP would have just had one album, and I thought it would have been a Spectacular Mirror Pirate or whatever was rumored to float around then, and they wouldn't have had the double disc. And I had the double disc, Heaven and Hell, and I was going to talk about Heaven and Hell, but not in the biblical social constructs of what Heaven and Hell was. But you'll see what Enoch's Church is going to be like, what it's going to be about. But we get to the gathering, we win the MC contest at the gathering, we stick around long enough, and then they reveal what the 6 Jokers card is gonna be. Or no, actually, they didn't reveal it at that time. I was talking to some of the juggalos around there, and word was going around. And I talked to this one juggalo, and he said that he heard word and he got word that the 6 Jokers card was gonna be 2 albums, and it was gonna deal with heaven, it was gonna deal with hell. I was like, what the fuck? Are you serious? Oh my God, man. So I told my manager, I was like, well, we gonna have to shift gears here. Ain't no way I could come out with Heaven and Hell and then they coming out with Shangri-La and Hell's Pit, because then people gonna be thinking I'm biting or what have you. That wasn't the case. I had a concept doing Heaven and Hell since 1998. Yeah, I had it since 1998 when I was in the military. I was in the military. I didn't have access to a studio until I got back to Saginaw. But when I was in Kansas, I had no access to a studio or access to a bunch of recording equipment or music making equipment like I do now. And I could have been made all this stuff up. I didn't have access to it. So basically, hey, they came out with Shangri-La, the Wraith Shangri-La and the Wraith Hell's Pit first. And like I said, for fear of juggalos and up to saying, oh, V Sinister's biting ICP, here he come with heaven and hell, he just biting off of that. And I knew I was going to get a bunch of backlash for that. I had to shift gears. So when we got back to Saginaw, I was like, okay, no problem. No problem at all. I already had instrumentals done for it was Night of the Living Dead, the funeral at the time, and I already had those instrumentals done. So I guess what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put out Night of the Living Dead then instead of putting out Heaven and Hell. So that's where you see the order now that it's that's where you see the order of Morning Star, Hunting Season, Annihilation, Haunt of Fear, and Pale Horse. And like I said, the arcs were already planned. I was gonna do big album, EP, single, big album, EP, single. That's what I was gonna do. That was the structure I was keeping from beginning to end. But that's where we at right now. And since Hell's Pit has long passed and Shangri-La's long passed, I feel I probably put it out. I'm pretty sure I'm still gonna get those comparisons, but like I said, once all the pieces are put together, then you will see. But for the tidbit and benefit of the fans who stuck around and who gonna tune in and everything, this is for y'all benefit and everything because y'all tune in. I'm about to hang it up right now. Like I said, the next video is gonna pop up tomorrow, or I should say later today. And that one is going to deal with the present and everything that it encompasses. But here's one tidbit for you. I have not even told my homie Josh about it. He gonna jump on me about it. He gonna get mad. He gonna be like, I'm gonna tell the people watching before I tell him, and he's part of my team and everything. Well, Josh, this is from your raw heart. You ain't on any BS. Yeah, seriously. Yeah, this is raw. I'm telling you. Hey, I know I've got tens of thousands of fans and what have you. At one point in time, I did, and I'll explain that. I'll explain that in the present tomorrow, what have you. But hey, I do. I want to tell y'all, I love y'all. I love all my fans to death. Whether you following my music, whether you following my comic strips, whether you following my fitness, whatever you following. Hey, so long as you following it, I'm just putting this out because I want to put it out. First and foremost, before this ain't about business. This ain't about trying to take your money or anything like that. Which is why I put the Haunt of Fear, EPs out for free. I gave the Lionheart, Sword of God EP out for free. I put the Demon and the Conquest out for free. I'm putting Kill God out for free because this ain't about making money off of y'all and everything. Hey, I'm happy that somebody appreciates what I'm doing because I'm first and foremost before businessman. I'm an artist first. First and foremost is I'm an artist first. I just want somebody to appreciate the art that I do. If you appreciate it, you like it, and you can understand it, that's good enough for me and what have you. But mind you, I still need to get paid off of some of these albums because I don't have my own recording setup like a lot of my peers do. I actually have to drive either to Detroit with my homeboy Defect or to Midland with my homeboy Adam and record there. I have to travel. I have to actually travel and get in the studio or what have you. So yeah. So if I gotta charge something with something, it's to cover the cost to record all this stuff. It ain't free for me. But anyway, this is what I'm gonna tell y'all, and it's an hour and 17 minutes, so not too bad. 17 minutes over, at least it ain't 2 or 3 hours, what have you. And then this is it for the night. But sleep on this and think about, like I said, one, I'm gonna tell you two things, and that's it. One, my albums are not just sporadic and all over the place and have no kind of rhyme and reason to them. Like I said, I already established. If you want to follow the saga of the gospel apocalypse, I told you what's in the gospels of the apocalypse. Morningstar, Pale Horse, Enoch's Concerto are the main three gospels. The main arcs are Haunt of Fear, Hunting Season, Annihilation, and The Great Stairwell. Those are the main arcs. And then the keys are Silent Hill X, which ironically is on Hunting Season, Annihilation, but there's also a remix floating around. You can use a remix as a key. My Heaven, Silent Hill X2, the next Silent Hill coming up, Kill God. Those are the keys. The keys to open up the next gospel, and the next gospel is Enoch's Concerto. Double album. Here's number two. That is not the only double album that's going to be in the Gospels of the Apocalypse. That's all you need to know. The first double album is going to be Enoch's Concerto. and I will let you marinate on that. And this is V Sinister. Thank you for tuning in. It's an hour and 19-minute video. Hopefully some of y'all watch it and not fall asleep bored to death and everything. I hope you got a lot out of it and so on and so forth. And I gave you some major clues in video of where we're going with all this, what have you. And all you gotta do is watch the video from beginning to end, and you might catch upon what I'm saying and everything. But that's one tidbit is that I give you two tidbits, and then that's it. Two tidbits. One, time and infinity, time and space is cyclical. And actually, time and space is a man-made construct. But time and space and life are cyclical or cyclical. How do you pronounce it? It's cyclical. Life, time, and space are cyclical. And there's not one double album coming out in the Gospels of the Apocalypse, but two double albums. Later.